Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and it's time for a special Build Divers Re-Rise themed episode of Gunpla News. Now, the Re-Rise news dropped over the course of basically the entire day yesterday. I was kind of working on a video that day. I wanted to have something out, but the information was coming out so quickly that by the time I had anything put together, it was already completely outdated. So I waited until everything's kind of settled down, and I'm just going to give you all the information straight right now. But before we get into the news, I got to give a big thank you, of course, to channel sponsor NewType HQ. If you want to get yourself some Gunpla, paints, tools, or supplies, I highly recommend you check out the link in the description below. And don't forget to use code Channel2S for 10% off your order. So Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise appears to be in the same universe as Build Divers, obviously, given the name. However, it doesn't appear to have any returning cast members, and all the new suits are, of course, brand new, as is usually the case with these kind of sequels, so let's just jump right into it and look at the Gunpla. So we should probably start with the lead Gundam because the amount of pissing and moaning I've seen online about this design is absolutely unreal. So this is the lead Gundam in its most basic form. This is the core Gundam. This is what people have a problem with, and kind of rightly so because it looks really stupid, but here's the thing. This is literally the stupidest thing you could possibly complain about because there is not a single release of this model you will see that doesn't come with the parts to turn it into a normally proportioned Gundam. See this? This is the Earth 3 Gundam. This is the actual kit that core Gundam comes in. When you buy the core Gundam, you also get all the parts to build this. So just build this and stop whining about the core Gundam. Seriously, it's like the stupidest thing you can complain about with this show. And believe me, you are not going to see me defending a whole lot about this show. So the gimmick of the core Gundam is it has different armor sets that it can combine with, and they're all named after planets. So the main form is the Earth 3 Gundam, then he has two alternate forms called the Mars 4 Gundam and the V2 Gundam, or Venus 2 Gundam. Now each of these armor sets also comes with a core Gundam, meaning that no matter which one you get, you will always get the parts to make a full Gundam, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Now the core Gundams are going to be recolored for each of these, so one of them is going to come with the G3 colors, I believe that's the Mars 4 one, and then the real type colors core Gundam is going to come with the V2. Yeah, the real type core Gundam is going to come with the V2 armor. So no matter which one you get, you're getting the whole Gundam. You're not going to just get the core Gundam on its own. However, what I do think is a little bit cash grabby about these models is that there are unique weapons for the Mars 4 and the V2. They seem to have kind of a sword force and blast impulse thing going on where changing the armor set changes the whole weapons loadout. However, the unique weapons for the alternate forms are build custom sets, meaning that if you actually want to get the complete version of the two alternate Gundams, you have to get the build custom sets to go with them, which I think is really stupid. Although then again, it does seem like the gimmick they're going for with these three models is less about you having different weapons when you buy the different forms, and more about you being able to mix and match different armor parts on the core Gundam. So they showed a bunch of different examples of different combinations of the three armor sets. Basically, as far as I can tell, they seem to be trying to turn Gunpla customization into like a marketable gimmick for the model kit line. So you buy the three different versions of the Gundam, and you can customize the colors how you like between the three kits. You can customize which types of armor parts you use. It's a neat little idea. I'm definitely going to be picking at least one of these up, although I probably won't be going for the full set. Next up, we have the one kit from this line that I know for damn well sure I am definitely going to be picking up because this thing looks amazing, and this is the nu-zeon Gundam. So this is a new Gundam, but it's Zeon. It's in Sazabi colors, it's got some slightly more Sazabi-inspired armor, it's got a big old Superman Z on the chest, and probably the most creative part of the design is a massive tactical arms shaped like the Neo-Zeon emblem. It's a pretty creative looking kit. It is using the HGUC New Gundam mold, which is pretty old. However, as you probably saw in my review of that kit that I did earlier this year, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out, I actually still really like this mold. It's not one of my favorite kits anymore, but it's still pretty darn awesome. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to this kit, and will most likely pick it up on release. So next up, we have the Night Justice Gundam. Now this one I'm not as into. I think it's an alright design. It's based off the Justice Gundam. It's inspired by the Night Gundam as well, and in my opinion, it really doesn't look as good as either of those stock designs, but it's still pretty alright looking. Now I would assume this is based off the Freedom Gundam Revive mold, since the Freedom and Justice are so interchangeable that when you're doing a modification of this level, you could pretty much use either one. I've seen some people talk about this using the old Seed Justice mold or the Infinite Justice mold, which I think is total BS. There's no way they would do that. I mean, I could see them doing that with original build fighters back when they weren't really sure if the line was going to be successful, but they're clearly confident in what they're doing with Build Divers Re-Rise. I mean, they made an entirely new Gundam for the lead Gundam that's based off not just a new mold, it's based off basically nothing we've gotten in Gundam before. Like, everyone was all speculating about, oh, what Gundam is the lead Gundam going to be based off of? This is brand new. This is based off nothing. Like, yeah, it's going to have little elements of other Gundams vaguely, but is basically a new Gundam design. So they're clearly very confident in this series' of success. It definitely looks like they're trying to make it something that can stand on its own. So I highly doubt they'd be reusing a 15-year-old mold for one of the main kits. Now regarding the weapons of the nu-zeon and Knight Justice, we will actually be getting build custom sets for both of them. So we're going to be getting a mass production Zaku green version of the nu-zeon tactical arms, and we'll also be getting a blue version of the Justice Gundam's weapons, given the very cool name Injustice Weapon Set. Now the next Gundam we got here to look at is the, I guess, obligatory IBO looking but not actually IBO mobile suit, and this is the Gundam Cell Sam. Now this is based off the Gundam Mark III in design, but obviously not in kit since there is no Gundam Mark III kit, and I honestly don't think this is any kind of prelude to it since it's so heavily based off its own thing and really not that heavily based off the Mark III at all that if I didn't know that this was based off the Mark III, I would have honestly not even known where to begin. You might as well treat it as a new Gundam design. That's basically what it is. He's got a really cool telescoping arm. He's got a Kimura-style lance. It's a pretty cool design that was very obviously intended to appeal to the IBO crowd, even if it's not actually an IBO mobile suit. So next up, we have our first grunt suit of the series. I'm guessing this is going to be like kind of our Leo NPD equivalent, and this is the Dora Brute. Now this is based off the HGFC Death Army mold, which I haven't talked about yet. I'm going to do another episode of Gunpla News tomorrow that's basically going to be everything but the Build Divers news that's happened over the last week or so because I want to kind of separate them since there's a lot of Build Divers stuff to talk about. And the Dora Brute is based off of that mold and more specifically based off one of the alternate versions of the Death Army called the Death Beast. It's got that kind of quadruped centaur thing going on. I think it's a really cool design. I might very likely pick this kit up, although it's not a super high priority for me. I do like the mace design. It actually gives me some Bionicle vibes now that I look at it. And the overall design is pretty creative and it looks like a fun build. So yeah, I think I'll pick one up. Now this is the Val Q Lander. This is an SD Gundam. It does transform into a dragon, and we've only seen the dragon form so far, which is kind of weird. Now they did show us box art or mock-ups of the box art for all of these kits as well. And what I noticed was interesting about this one is they showed it in dragon mode on the box too. And I'm kind of almost wondering if this kit is just going to be the dragon mode, because I kind of see an SD Gundam head in there, but I'm noticing a lot of the body parts seem a lot more well hidden than they usually are on these kind of transforming SDs. So it's almost got me wondering, is this really going to be an SD Gundam? Or are they going to do like the Dragon mode and the Gundam mode as two separate kits so they can increase the quality of each one? I don't know, maybe it's still going to transform. I just think it's something to think about, seeing as they've been really trying to keep the mobile suit mode under wraps. So now this probably isn't directly Build Divers Re-Rise related. It was announced along with the other kits there, so I gotta mention it here because it's just too cool to wait until tomorrow. The Haropla line's been going on for a while now. We've gotten some really fun designs out of it. It's really clear they're having a lot of fun playing around with this line and coming up with really kind of goofy, creative new ways to use the Haro design. And the newest one we'll be getting is the Reloj Haro. This is based off everyone's favorite mobile armor from Original Gundam, or maybe second favorite if you're counting Big Zam. And it's a pretty great looking design. It's a really clever use of the Haro. I love how they're kind of embracing the goofier side of Gundam with these Haro kits and kind of mixing it with these kind of funny, creative designs. There's a lot of potential here with this line, so I really hope it sticks around for a while. As for the Reloj Haro itself, I think it's pretty great. I'm not expecting the blades or the red bits on the front of the thrusters to be colored in properly on the final release, but it's just a Haro Plus, so it's not really that big a deal. So at the Re-Rise announcement event, there was another kit on display that they didn't really talk about at all during the event, and that is the Build Gamma Gundam. Now this is listed as a reference exhibit kind of display only thing. However, I think there's a possibility this is going to get released. It seems like a pretty straightforward design. So it's based off the Rictius, and I did some side-by-side comparisons with the old HG, and it looks like it's using the original HGUC mold, so I don't think this is going to be the basis for a Rictius revive. However, due to the nature of the design and how simple the modification is, I think we have a pretty good shot of seeing this as a P-Bandai kit. Unrelated to that point, but still worth mentioning about this kit, is the fact that the head on this model really looks like the Wound Ward. Like, I'm seriously getting some massive Wound Ward vibes from this thing. So that's all the kits we saw actual prototypes of at the convention. However, there's another model that I think is pretty likely that we're going to see in the future, although it isn't a guarantee, and that is this very cool Wadam variant used by one of the main characters in the show. Now, she seems to be kind of the Ayame replacement for this series. In fact, all the main characters really look like just kind of redesigned versions of characters from original Build Divers. You got the guy with the Justice Gundam that kind of looks like Magi. You got the little Neko person, you got the little furry, You got the mysterious ninja girl. The main cast, basically all the characters that people liked from Build Divers, just done over again. So this is a model based off the Wadom. It's got some new material on it. I think it's pretty likely that we could see it because while the Wadom, I think, technically is a mobile armor, it's a pretty small one, so they could definitely pull it off as a high grade. It would be a pretty big kit though, and it would definitely have to be a new mold, so it can kind of go either way. However, with how much they're pushing the pilot as one of the main characters in the show, I think it's pretty likely we're going to be seeing it eventually. So before we finish up tonight, one last thing I'm going to do is just give you all some quick release dates just so you know when these kits are coming out. So in October, we're going to be getting the lead Earth 3 Gundam, the Justice Knight, and the build custom sets for the Mars 4 and V2. In November, we'll be getting the full Gundams of the Mars 4 and V2, although you will still need to get the build custom sets to get the true full experience, the nu-zeon Gundam, and the Val Q Lander. Finally, in December, we'll be getting the Cell Sam, the Brute, the other two build custom sets, and of course, the Haro. So it looks like we got a pretty interesting lineup for the rest of the year. I know a lot of people are really not super hyped for this line. I honestly have no expectations for the show. I'm expecting to be just as terrible as Build Divers and really not looking forward to it at all. However, I think the kits at least still look pretty cool, and there's definitely a few of these here that I will be picking up. So thanks for watching this video. I will be doing a follow-up video tomorrow with all the other non-Build Divers news we've gotten recently, so definitely stick around for that. And if you're not already subscribed, I would recommend hitting that subscribe button right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to head to Newtype HQ and use that code Channel2S. And as always, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.